So I'll show you how I do my dictation for standard 4 students. So out of the nine areas for prep 4, and just for reference, it starts at 17.1 in your curriculum document. But out of the 9 areas, these are the ones that I do for term 1 in prep 4. So your commonly misspelled words, the Ministry of Education, they prepared a document that has commonly misspelled words, so you can use these to input into Chatgpt. I also do homophones, so you're gonna input into Chatgpt high frequency homophones for whichever grade. Now, since this is for prep 4, standard 4, you're going to go a level up, and I actually go 2 levels. I go to grade 6. All right, so homophones. Then you have synonyms for good or nice and bad. Now, this is what I use it all the time. It looks old. I have had this for about 5 to 7 years, and it has never failed me. So you're gonna have a list of synonyms for good or nice and bad, whichever ones you'd like your students to learn, or if there's a textbook that has some great ones, you can give it to them as well. So synonyms for good, nice and bad. Then, now this is the real game changers. So you want to do silent E. I put continuous tense, but you can use whichever tense you want, you prefer, or you can just use the present participle. But do silent E, adding ing to verbs that end with E, and you're going to do forming adjectives. And the last thing that I usually do for term 1 in prep 4, I do pluralization, nouns ending with Y. So you'll give them the 2 rules that they must learn, and you'll do compound words. But with the compound words, you want to include using the apostrophe to show ownership. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, but this girl crazy. Why is she including vocabulary and all these things? But this is my secret. This is my process for how I never lag. This is why I don't have a problem finishing the syllabus. So I use dictation to help my students not only with spelling, but also with vocabulary, because the vocabulary is applied in creative writing. So I help them with vocabulary, creative writing, and grammar to reinforce those topics, those subject areas. So at the beginning of your term, what I usually do, I give the children and also the parents. Ensure that you involve the parents. Once you involve the parents, things are going to work smoothly. That's going to help you a lot. So I provide this list. Now, since we're focusing on dictation, which is mainly spelling, you give your parents and students a list. Whichever textbooks you use, you're going to provide them with the exact page numbers that you want them to focus on. When they are doing their revision, they know exactly which textbook and which page number they ought to look at. For me, NB means they have to check the notebook. UEG, SVC, upper primary, whichever textbooks you use, they must know exactly where they have to go to do their revision. Now, this is the list. It's very old, like I said, about 5 to 7 years old. But these words, these verbs that end with E, they come up a lot. So this is why I had an extensive list, but these words seem to always come up. These are the prompts that you are going to put into Chatgpt. Provide a list of verbs that end with E, nouns that end with Y, synonyms for good or nice and bad, nouns that end with silent E, and high frequency homophones for grade. I use grade 6. Even though it's prep 4, I go either 1 or 2 class levels up. So I hope that was helpful.